What is up? What is up? What is up, everybody? And welcome back to another episode of Shooting the Shit Uncensored. I'm your host, as always, the bald, bearded, beautiful man, Piers Austin, and we are brought to you live by Multi-Continental Wrestling Alliance on Facebook and on YouTube. We're on Twitter and Instagram as well. You can find us everywhere as long as you're finding us and you're sitting here for this interview. It's great, and we're so happy that you decided to give us some time of your evening. I'm joined tonight by a very special guest. This past Saturday, I actually attended a wrestling show here in Sydney, Australia, by a company called Pro Wrestling Australia, PWA. They had a small, intimate night of wrestling of 50 people in the audience. And I saw this guy, and he came out, did a little bit of a promo. I went home and I was like, I want to know a bit more about this guy. I saw some of his matches. He's done commentary. And I thought, man, this guy is so entertaining. I really want to try and get him on the show. And I'm so glad that we've got him here for you guys tonight. But before I get into that, I just want to thank a couple of our sponsors. First up is A-Rock Designs. Now, A-Rock Designs is that company that you're seeing all over all the wrestling groups, all over all the wrestling pages. They make custom cups, hoodies, keychains, t-shirts, tumblers, you name it, they make it. They made me this very special custom CM Punk tumbler, which I absolutely love because I'm a huge punk fan, or Mark, I should say. They do awesome work at a great price as well. So hit up my good friend Ashley Rodriguez and she will hook you up with a great deal. Next up of my sponsors is Signal Studios. Now, Signal Studios is a recording studio here in Sydney, Australia. So if you're an independent professional wrestler, you need some new entrance music. My boy Rafi can hook it up. He can make it. He can master it. He can mix it and send it out to you anywhere in the world, guys. So look, head over and check out his stuff on Facebook, on YouTube. Also, if you're a band in Sydney and you just need a place to rehearse or you need a place to record, they have an amazing facility. It's really comfortable. You can sit back, you can relax, and really get those creative juices flowing. Guys, my third sponsor and my final sponsor for this evening is WASF Championship Belts, as we call it, WASF. But WASF Championship Belts make fantastic wrestling belts. And if you're a wrestling fan, and any wrestling fan in the world, it loves wrestling belts. They either want to own them or they own them. So if you want to get your hands on a custom belt or a replica of your favorite belt, head over to WASF Championship Belts on Facebook, hit them up, and they will give you a great deal. They have special payment plans so you can pay that belt off and at reasonable prices, and it's a great product as well, guys. So make sure you go and head over and check that out. But guys, tonight, my guest, I'm going to bring him out. He is Tough Stuff, Ricky South. Ricky, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me, Piers, brother. It's good to be on Shooting the Shit, something I very much enjoy doing in my private time, and I'm very happy to do it publicly with someone like yourself. Very good beard. I've been trying to grow something mid-COVID, mid-quarantine. I decided to get rid of the beard and just keep the stash. And
the stash looks good, man. It looks pretty slick.
The thing with me, I get really thick and sort of it's not nice, so you can't really do shit with it. So
get you a nice conditioner and shampoo, mate. But here we are talking about beauty products, and I'm sure our viewers are sitting there going, "Is this a wrestling show? Or are you guys taking care of beauty?" But hey, you got to make wrestling's a cosmetic business, man. You got to.
This is the moneymaker, Anything to obviously make this piece of shit face a bit more palatable and presentable, I'm all for. So I tried getting mustache wax. I got some mustache sort of oil, and it's just really thick, but.
Well, dude, that's the thing, man. That's why I've got a voice for radio, or head for radio, so I'm told. So that's why I stick to the other side of it. But look, the chat's going off at the moment, so we got quite a few people in here checking out the show. We got Josh Tattersall, who's a local Australian fan. Big shout out to Josh. I know he's going through some medical things at the moment, brother. I hope you're doing well and all the best. We got Michael in here. We got our regular viewer and good friend of mine, Chris Kennedy. What's up, you sexy son bitch? All the way over in Texas watching us. Yeah, man, he's getting into it. So, and we've also got Joel Southgate checking in here as well, saying Ugg is a chicken. I wouldn't be saying that to him, but whatever you say, man. And even Kyle Eade saying Ugg is a pussy. You boys have more balls than I do, but man, getting into it, guys, thanks for tuning in. Throw through your comments and questions. We'll make sure we can get to them somewhere along the line. But Ricky, man, first off, I've got to ask, how did you get involved in wrestling? You know, were you always a fan growing up? Was it something you wanted to do at a young age?
Look, always very much a fan. Like I'm the youngest of three brothers, and growing up, obviously, we played a lot of sports, so mainly footy and tennis, surprisingly. But obviously, being the youngest and being three boys and shit, like everything got really physical, and anything that was obviously theatrical that combined the physicality, we just naturally gravitated to. So all three of us absolutely loved wrestling from day dot. And my father's one regret is the fact that he ever showed me wrestling, because he had high hopes because I was smart and I had good grades and everything was going. My career trajectory was going up until I decided, you know what, wrestling's going to be it. Wrestling's going to be the thing that I'm going to do.
And how old were you when that sort of decision came about?
I was probably around about like 16, 17. And this is when I was doing like a uni degree, or like a double degree, and a nice degree, you know. And when I made that decision, I could see my father's and my mother's just kind of like, they just got disemboweled. And like, I like that scene in Indiana Jones where Carly Mar's heart gets ripped out of their chest and shit. So yeah, but always been a fan, always enjoyed it. And you know, once you start, you just go down this very, very long road. And you know, I've currently made a pit stop at injury sort of station, and that's what I'm going through right now. I'd just like to throw a little bit of a shout out to some very consistent fans, the guys like Joel Southgate and Carl Lead. Hello, boys. Thank you for joining in. And shit, everyone else that's bloody worldwide, you know, like crap. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, we're going out all worldwide. We got some Americans in the audience, people from the UK. We got people from Italy watching as well. So big shout out to everyone around the world. But you know, you said at 16 you were doing a double degree. Like, dude, like 16, like for people that aren't in Australia, in 16 is probably like you're still in high school. You've probably got 2 more years left before you like essentially graduate or finish a HSC. Mm-hmm. Like, did you sort of go through that a lot quicker than most people? Because doing a double degree, that's like, you know, university type shit. That's not high school.
Yeah. So luckily enough, I was offered the opportunity to start my degree somewhat into high school. So somewhat into year 12, I started my degree. So I started, and in year 12, I was 16. So my full year at university, I was 17. And being at uni, you know, that lifestyle and everything under the age of 18 was absolutely horrible. You know, missing out on like all the parties and going to like the pub and everything, that was dreadful. So although it was pretty cool to get a little bit of a head start doing it, there was some good and bad. Like I didn't really take in the full effect of the uni life until obviously I hit 18.
Yeah, right. And as far as getting into pro wrestling, like you said, 16 was when you made up your mind, but when did you actually go and take that leap and start training in the world of pro wrestling?
I think when I was around 17, because I know I made my debut when I was 18, and I made my debut with another company in Sydney. But I think I started training when I was 17. Midway as I started training, I had my birthday, I was 18. And then in September of that same year in which I turned 18, I debuted for this company.
Yeah, right. So that's pretty crazy, man. Like that's early on. And, you know, as far as like character wise and stuff like that, you know, were you really going in there, you know, when you debuted with the character full in effect and knew what you were doing? Or was it pretty much just debuting, no real character, no real gimmick, just get a few matches in?
So this place that I debuted with, which isn't PWA, it's a place called AWE, Australian Wrestling Entertainment.
Yep.
The bloke who runs it, you know,
Sammy.
Yeah, Sammy.
Yeah.
Through this, he's like, "This is what you're gonna be. You know, you're gonna be Mike Mercy, and this is what you're gonna do." I'm like, "Okay, sure thing, baby." Like, I just want to get out there, and I invited like my family and friends to come along and shit. Like, come here, check this cool shit out that I'm doing, and you know, like if I see or if I compare what's going on now with PWA and the level that we are trying to consistently always hit and always trying to top, I look back at like my very first matches and experience, and I'm like, it wasn't done right. And I chose that based on just sheer proximity of where AWE was located. I didn't really look into it. I didn't really look into too much about the trainers and the lineage and their history and obviously their reputation. I was just like, this is the closest. This is the one I'm going to fast track my career. Wrong choice.
Yeah.
You know, but
and
you're on the right track.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Like, that's the thing with PWA. The show that I saw, that was, my first show seeing it live since I started this show. I saw a show, I think it was a couple of years back. And honestly, like watching the PWA show, and I went back and I, have friends all over in the States and stuff like that. And my feedback, they said, how was the show? I said, that was probably on par with any top wrestling promotion in the world. Like hands down, like it was, there was nothing you could see there. It didn't have that sort of indie sort of feel. Like it definitely had that full professional vibe, and every performer there you can see is on point. How far into your career did you join up with the guys from PWA?
So I like from the point of wrestling with AWE, I think I wrestled for about 6 months, and then eventually I just decided that I looked into it a bit further. I decided to research. All right, PWA's got all these trainers, full-time access to a ring, all that. So I was still 18, and I think when I tried out, it was December 3rd, 2016. I think.
Mm-hmm.
I think so. That's what. Oh, sorry, no. I think 2014. And that's when I tried out. That's when I obviously started training there, and I didn't go into PWA and into training thinking like, oh, yeah, I've already got like 6 months worth of wrestling under my belt. No, I very much took the mentality of, all right, I have to start from, again, ground zero, because I know probably the place or PWA likes to do things a bit of a different way, pull out any of the bad habits that you developed, and then build you pretty much back up from ground zero from scratch.
Yeah.
But
I mean, you mentioned your training though. Like, was that this? Was it more that you felt that it was fast tracked with AWE, and you went sort of quick to starting and then into the ring? Do you think it was not enough time in the practice?
Not enough time. And this isn't anything against AWE, because I'll always respect Sammy and always respect what they do and for taking me in. But at that time, they would only kind of train maybe once, if lucky, a week. That was had access to a ring, and we only had that ring for about maybe an hour.
Yeah.
And, when I'm in the training, I think like, all right, this is pretty cool, but shit, I want more.
Yeah. You want that more consistency, like being in the ring, practicing every day, and getting those reps in and the feeling of it. Yeah.
Well, yeah, exactly. Now, people at PWA call me crazy, and granted, maybe I am crazy, and the fact that like I don't really take care of my body too much, hence why my neck is a little mess. But I used to think like, man, if I could actually get into the ring, like I would never not take the opportunity to do it.
Yeah.
If there's a ring available, sure as shit, I'm going to be in that ring. So this is why at PWA, we offer training 7 days a week, and I'm the dumb fool. I'm like, yep, I'll be there 7 days a week. I'll be there, 3 to 4 hours every day, and sure as shit, I'm going to be that guy. If that ring's available, I'm going to be training there.
But that's the thing. That's how you get better. The more time you're in the ring, the better that you're going to become, and the stronger skills you're going to be picking up. So it's it comes down to it, and definitely your ring style is one thing. And I was seeing a couple of your matches, and I really dig the way that you move in the ring and the stuff that you do. And it's such an interesting style considering the gimmick. And the gimmick itself is one thing that I love about wrestling, and I'm a huge wrestling fan, and people that watch this show are huge wrestling fans. You always think, I think when people want to get in pro wrestling, they want to be the badass, that big tough dude that's like, like kicking ass and the stone cold of the generation sort of thing. But your character and your gimmick is so different to what everyone else is doing, and only a select few people can do that gimmick and do it well. How did you come up with the tough stuff, Ricky South character?
I think a few things came into it. First of all, I'll just quickly mention that like Tough Stuff Ricky South is very just outgoing and very obviously a colorful personality. Me in my personal life, same sort of thing. I'm quite outgoing, bit of a colorful personality, and I'm very overt, not so much covert. But I obviously wanted to think, well, is there kind of a way in which I can utilize a gap in what we have in PWA? In PWA, we have characters who are bullies, characters who are the athletic aerial freaks. We have obviously characters that are quite, at that time, more on that sort of dark or demonic sort of side, whatever. And we had the really, really big sort of out of this world, just funny gimmicks like Big Fudge.
I love that character. Like, that's amazing.
I loved Big Fudge. I loved Big Fudge so much that I decided, and again, I'm very much a fan of Japanese wrestling. And I thought, like, before I even wanted to be Tough Stuff Ricky South, I said that I love Big Fudge so much. And then in Japan, you have Tiger Mask and you have Black Tiger. You have the antithesis. You have the opposite. And I'm like, what would the opposite of Big Fudge be? And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to pitch King Caramel. I'm going to be King Caramel. I'm going to be Big Fudge's evil opposite. And then we're going to have this amazing feud. Obviously, that shit the bed and wasn't, that wasn't received well. And then back to the drawing board. So then obviously I saw what was missing in there. And what was missing was just obviously someone very over the top, very outgoing, very colorful, And then I harken back and I'm like, who did I always like? And man, like I always liked Macho Man. And granted, this is a lot older than what I am. Yeah. I'm like, man, like Jesse Ventura, fucking Billy Graham, Macho Man, Randy Savage, all these people. Like, and then we go a little further. And I'm like, fuck, like someone like Goldust. Well, like, what do they all have in common? Man, they're colorful, they're eccentric, they're flamboyant. And then I look into, well, like, what do I like in my movies and everything, and in my music? And there was a common theme. Like all these people, very out there, sometimes a little weird and a little kooky, but man, like I just gravitated to that shit. So you pick and choose and you try and put them all together into some amalgamation of bullshit, and then I guess Tough Stuff Ricky South is what got spat out.
And how did the pitch go when you tried to pitch that? Was it well received?
I honestly think every gimmick when it's first pitched is never well received. No one's like, that's going to be our moneymaker. They were like, all right, we can see it's got some legs, some potential. And, the only way that they really know if it's going to work is obviously if they see it on stage.
Yeah.
So I had the chance or the opportunity. Our sister company, so Newcastle Pro Wrestling, Newey Pro, at the end of every year, they hold an awards night. But what they do at the awards night is the rookies put on kind of like a little bit of a show for the wrestlers. And I was lucky enough to be just chosen. They're like, yeah, all right, you're going to wrestle. You're going to put on the show. I'm like, all right, this is my chance to kind of put this on stage and see if they buy it. And they bid. And I'm like, all right, then we've got something. And then from there, just snowballed.
I mean, it's the character itself. It's sort of, as you said, it's a very colorful character, and you can definitely see. And what's said mainly by a lot of very well-known professional wrestlers, that the best gimmicks in wrestling is basically the person themselves, turned up to 11. You know, your role, and you know, you mentioned Goldust as one character that, you know, that was really there, and I think that your character really pushes that envelope in that similar sort of direction, where it's like, you know, you come out, you've got the lipstick, you know, the way that you dress and stuff, and how you're talking as well, but it's not completely out there. Like, you know, what about with fans? Have you ever had like bad interactions with some of the fans that have sort of like at the more of like the black label shows and the adult only orientated shows, like screaming out like homophobic slurs or anything like that? You know, do you ever get that sort of more hateful reaction at that sort of show?
To be honest, and this interview is basically going to be just probably a very long kind of admiration of PWA, because I very much love it. But man, I fucking love our fans. Our fans are very accepting, and they very much recognize, obviously, hard work, and obviously, you know, when someone actually tries to put in commitment to the performance, they recognize that, and that will show you. But if you shit the bed, they'll also show you that as well. Like they will recognize if you shit the bed. So fortunately enough, our crowd has been very accepting of Ricky South, and I haven't had an issue there. I have had some issues elsewhere in the country, but I always like to think that Ricky South or Tuff Stuff very much tries to fight the prejudice of what a flamboyant wrestler or character can be. If you notice, I never try and say sort of key buzzwords that would easily describe this character, but I try and challenge that prejudice, because you've definitely seen other flamboyant characters do some stereotypes, and I think wrestling and the way we can tell stories and our characters have evolved leaps and bounds from these stereotypes.
I completely agree.
So, sorry.
No.
This is why I try and sum it up. Like, if anyone wants to ask me, like, what does Ricky South do? Like, what's he about? I've tried to dumb it down from a big paragraph of an explanation to a couple sentences to hopefully 2 words. It's flamboyant aggression. So
flamboyant aggression. I like that. That's cool.
I may look fruity. I may seem weird. I may look again flamboyant or whatever, but I'll fuck you up. Like, there's no problem there. I want to try and be as big as possible and absolutely destroy people. And I see no reason as to why flamboyant wrestlers and characters and people can't do the same. It's beyond me.
And that's why I said in the beginning of the interview that the way that you wrestle is different to the way that you've seen people with similar. I don't want to say similar gimmicks, because I don't want to say that your character is definitely original, but you know, the other, you know, wrestlers that have, you know, flirted down that direction of over flamboyancy and stuff like that, the way that they wrestle is a lot different. Your style of wrestling, as you said, is very aggressive, very hard hitting. And I personally, that's why to me, it was like, once I was at the show on PWA, I saw you come out, you cut the promo. I was like, oh, this guy's pretty cool. I want to go find out more about him. You know, started seeing like matches and stuff like that. And I'm going, okay, cool. And promos, seen one match that you did on commentary as well. And I was like, man, this guy's cool. I really want to get him on and just pick his brain a little bit.
Thank you.
No, it's but I think that it's definite. I think that the PWA fans are definitely passionate, and that's one thing that I did see, that a lot of these guys all knew each other. They were going around talking, and even me, who is pretty much I'm going to say it was pretty much my first show that I'd been to, and you know, everyone was just very friendly, very welcoming. Hey man, how you doing? I'm this and I'm that, and you know, and it was a very welcoming environment as well that it felt there. And when I spoke with Mick Moretti, he said he definitely wanted to build up like a community type vibe, and I could definitely feel that on Saturday night.
Yeah. I think with our fans and with what PWA produces, there may be a little bit of background noise, and within PWA, it's very much a community whereby we ain't going to really deal with any kind of negativity. If that negativity presents itself, or if anyone tries to bring that negativity, we are very clinical in trying to cut that shit out. We will not deal with that negativity. Like, we're on this path that's going up, you know, and if anyone along that sort of path, tries to kind of bring us down or like kill our vibe. It's just all right, just move to the side, piss off, and then let us continue what we're doing.
Yeah, I mean, it's eye on the prize. This is where we plan to get to, and one thing that for me, seeing Australian wrestling and seeing how well Australian wrestling has really grown over the last several years. Like, we've always had great talent here. And I know a lot of the fans are going to say, I always say this when I speak to an Australian wrestler on this show, but it's because it's a fact. It's, you see Australian wrestling now, it's evolved so much. It's been recognized more on a worldwide basis that, these, international stars are wanting to come to Australia and wrestle at PWA. And that's the sort of thing. Whereas, like, in the early 2000s, there were some big American indies and everyone was going, I got to go to this company. I got to go to this company in order to get to. And it's just like now to have PWA to put us, like, I'd essentially say put us on the map, internationally as well. Would you agree with that?
Look, I'm going to say yes, but there's also a little sidebar to that. Like, PWA has played a part in it. And, I'm going to leave that to anyone else as to decide how big of a part, but they played a part. Organizations like Wrestle Rampage, EPW in Perth, MCW, and places up in Queensland as well, they all played that part. And I think all of them share the same common goal of we need to put good shit out there. We don't just need to put content. Like, content is like being the king is bullshit. We need to put good content out there. And only by putting good content out there will we get eyes and will we get attention. And I feel like that's something that we've tried to really focus and drill in the past 2 to 3 years. Like, we really wanted to take our production levels from piss poor to effing phenomenal. I'm trying to limit the swearing.
Dude, but yeah, you're good. We're uncensored.
I swear too much, so I need to get into that habit. But yeah, we want to take it to obviously phenomenal levels where it's obviously seen worldwide, where people realize, shit, what the fuck's shit? Well, what's going on down here? And I feel like every other promotion is doing that as well. So we're all playing a part too. Obviously, PWA, we have a goal, but every other organization, we all have one goal: to make Australia the bloody hotbed of pro wrestling. We don't want our guys going overseas and being like, oh, I got to wrestle, that place in that state in America. No, we want everyone else around the world to be like, fuck, we need to get to Australia and we need to wrestle at PWA.
Sydney, Brisbane, Melbourne, yeah.
All these places. That's what we're working towards.
Yeah, and I apologize for my question. I wasn't, no disrespect meant to any of the other promotions in Australia. And you did mention EPW and MCW, two great promotions as well. And for me, really, I'm going through a big binge of Australian wrestling lately, and that's one thing that I'm really liking to see is the quality of performance that is happening over the last several years, and it's been amazing to see that the quality of workers. Yep. So, and I definitely think that, there are some promotions out there putting out some great content. And I think that there's some promotions out there that are putting out not so great content. So,
I'm sure you would have that in every country and every place that's trying to produce pro wrestling. But, as you said, we have eyes on a goal and we're going to do our bloody best to obviously work towards it and achieve it, so.
100%. But
we'll see ahead.
That's it. And you mentioned your neck injury. So how did walk us through it? So what happened? How did it happen? And how long has it sort of set you out for?
So I've been dealing with some nerve injuries in my neck for the past few months. So pretty much right when lockdown really hit the fan and shit started to really take place for some reason or another, some sort of nerve injury started to flare up in my neck. That affected the strength radiating in my arms. And, I very much hip-hopped between specialists, neurologists, neurosurgeons, all these places, and like find out what the fuck's going on with me. I found out what was going on. So I just tried to do everything to avoid surgery. So I was just resting, recovering, recuperating, physio, all this stuff. And then obviously last Saturday I had Uncensored Jordan obviously place a nice steel chair around my neck and give it a bit of an old stomping. So I think that may have set me back a little bit. But, at least, I count my lucky stars that there wasn't any really serious nerve damage. So happy days.
Man, that was crazy because when I was seeing that in front, because I sort of was like afterwards going back and I'm like, hold on a second, but that's the spot that I was like, oh, that was a bit like putting yourself in that situation. I mean, how were you feeling going out on Saturday night to do that spot and knowing, the deal? Were you nervous about it? Were you having any concerns or doubts about the spot?
You know what? Zero. Uncensored Jordan may be a bit of a dick, but Uncensored Jordan is a fantastic wrestler. So, and again, that's when you go out there with people you have utter confidence in the world and you just no nerves because it's Uncensored Jordan, it's Ricky South, it's all these people. Shit's gonna be fine,
Absolutely. But that's the thing, when you have that confidence in the people that you're working with, you really understand that. You know what they're doing. You know that they're not going to be taking any sort of extra liberties, and they know the process, they know the drill, and it must give you that world of confidence.
100%. There isn't anyone in PWA that I want to happily do like insane, crazy things with. I know it sounds messed up, but I wholeheartedly trust everyone in PWA 100% with my life. We'll just go out there, we'll do everything. I'll do it with 100% confidence that you're going to take care of me. And I know they feel the same about me. So, and when we both think of the same thing, then we're going to be safe and we're going to be, we're going to be good to go. And, we're going to be able to continue wrestling the next week. And
it's going to be, continue on, take care of each other, do the right thing. And you're not going to have that issue. And that's the sort of feeling that you get with that PWA locker room. It seems like a very tight-knit bunch of people, like a very tight crew.
Yeah. Well, as I said, I see them obviously about 7 days a week sometimes, and I see them more than my actual family, so they're family.
Yeah, exactly. So, just because someone's not related to you doesn't mean they're not family. But one of the things I wanted to ask you actually went and spent some time over in the US and you wrestled for Chikara. And so Ricky's just taking a step away, guys. But while I got this moment, guys, make sure you head over to prowrestlingtees.com/MWA World. And Ricky's come back with a nice, beautiful, big trophy, which is Chikara. I'm just trying to bring you up on the bring screen here. The Chikara Young Lions Cup. Look at that, man. That is beautiful.
Yes, Chikara.
Yeah. So how did you find going over there and wrestling in another country? Did you find it was very similar to how it's operated here in Australia, or was there much of a muchness to the international style?
So when I went over this year, it was actually the second time I went over for Chikara. I went over once last year for the Young Lions Cup again, but it was a little bit of a step back for a few reasons. Obviously, Chikara being run by Mike Quackenbush, he obviously runs his company obviously different to how PWA is run and how every other organization would be run. So it's just going in there, you're, again, very much the new kid on the block, so to say. So you just basically play ball. You play ball with how, the promoter wants it to be done and likes it to be done. And, you just basically do it. It was a bit of a learning curve or a bit of an experience wrestling the students and doing all that. But yeah, it was fantastic. I was fortunate enough there to train while I was over there at the Wrestle Factory. So I have nothing but great, amazing things to say about Chikara and Mike Quackenbush, and I know that may be frowned upon given some information that's come out. But I hold those experiences that I've had quite dearly. They are obviously very significant to me, and just because of what has come out about the company and obviously the person doesn't mean it doesn't take away the validity or the hard work I put towards in going over there, trying to represent PWA and show my shit and put in the hard work to hope to eventually win the Young Lions Cup. Mwah!
But that's the thing, you by no way should anything that came out about Quack and Chikara, belittle your experience over there. I mean, you went over there, you had a great time, and you had some success over there. That is a massive accomplishment. And that should still be a massive accomplishment. You know what I mean? That would be my sort of take on it.
That's my take on it, and obviously other people have different takes on it, and they either jokingly or quite seriously say, "Oh, you should disassociate yourself from, being that champion." And with Chikara, and I always say respectfully, I don't choose to. If anything, is just recognition of hard work I've been putting in, and recognition of just the time and my dedication to the craft and to the sport that is pro wrestling. And every time I see this is again, I'm not very sentimental, but every time I say this, it's a bit of a motivation, a bit of a kick up the arse to obviously keep going a bit. So I don't tie this to anything that's come out against obviously Chikara and Mike Quackenbush. This is just very much a symbol or representation of hard work and dedication I've been putting in.
Mate, absolutely, and I completely agree with you. It has nothing to do with it, and the people that are saying that, if they were in your shoes and they were walking around with that trophy, would they be saying the same thing? It's people on the outside want to sit there and throw stones, but look, you to go over there and sacrifice time away from family and put your effort into doing this and becoming a professional wrestler, and to be recognized like that is a huge accomplishment, and you should be proud of it.
Yeah, and sure shit, baby, I'm proud as punch. And the fact that I've been fortunate enough to be lumped in with some great alumni Chikara wrestlers who have held this Young Lions Cup, man, that's some high praise, and that's some esteemed company. So,
oh, dude, 100%. But did you wrestle anywhere else when you were over in the States both times, or was it?
I wrestled at one other place, and it was at I think it was the home promotion for one Mike Quackenbush when he was first coming up. He agreed to take a booking there, and then when I was over there, Mike Quackenbush just said to me, like, "Ricky, do you want to wrestle?" And I'm like, playing it cool. I'm like, "Yeah, Mike, yeah, okay, we'll wrestle around." Where inside my mind, I'm like, damn effing straight do I want to wrestle. I've been wanting this for quite a while. So he's all right. And in his classic way, he's like, "Okay, Mr. South, we are going to go to this place, and this is going to be the match and whatever." And yeah, like he took the booking because obviously it was just a favor to the promoter, and it wasn't the greatest. It wasn't the flashiest. It was I got a bit of an experience of the American true indies, but maybe it's all part of the ride. It's all part of the journey. I would have loved to wrestle in. You hear the fabled stories of wrestling in a barn with no electricity and running water. I'm like, give me that shit. I'll take it all.
Dude, 100%, 100%.
I'm going to the country. Like, I'm not going to be choosy. Fucking, as long as I'm safe and as long as I've got a ride to and from, I'm happy.
Man, I was actually had Marsha Slamovich on the other night, and we were having a conversation similar, and she was telling a story that she wrestled in this place, and it was like a couple of the wrestlers went in to roll around a bit before the show, and they're like, "Oh no, don't get in the ring, there's bugs, we got bitten," and they had to lay down something on a mat. Then two guys before the show went through a part of the ring, and the ring had 5 inches deep down into it, and they're like, "Yeah, just don't work that corner," and then there's a leak, and she was just saying, they put a tarp down and all this other bullshit, and she was just saying it was like some of the craziest shit that she'd ever seen.
I love wrestling because if there's something on the ring or something to do with the ring that presents a life-threatening danger, or like presents a possibility of grievous bodily harm, the first reaction is just stay away from it. Just work around it. Like it's instant death if you go near it, but just stay away. Go to that corner instead. It's not everyone's first reaction is not fix it. It's just stay away.
We'll make it work.
We'll make it work. And again, it's that carny mentality. Like, boy, like I love it, but I also hate it. Like, and then it's good that you brought up Marsha Slamovich. So when I was at Chikara in the US for most recently, she was booked there for the Young Lions Cup as well. And I think I heard of her name once, so I'm like, all right, it's good to see all these people that I may have just heard of. And when I was over there, I will throw a bit of a shout out. Like I stayed with Solo Darling, and the nicest, most gracious host anyone could have asked for. So thank you very much. I hung out with her dog, so Magnum. It was phenomenal. And Marsha also was very friendly with Solo, so we hung out a bit, got to talking, obviously, about like how she's been to, like, I think Puerto Rico and Japan and all these places and Russia and shit. Like Marsha's been fucking places, And then every now and then, like either of us will just kind of like react to one about like someone's story, because it's probably something about like wrestling in Japan, and we're both very much fans of that, and we'll just react and then quickly again like shoot the shit, a little bit of a chat, and we'll do that every now and then. But yeah, Marsha Slamovich, wonderful person, and someone probably on the list of people I'd like to wrestle eventually.
Oh man, she's amazing, and whenever I interview anyone, like I like to do my homework and go and try and find as much information and watch as much as I can, just so I like to have a really good understanding. And even when I've interviewed anyone else, like I'd put a lot of work into it. And one of the things of seeing her interview, like her wrestling style, and also just hearing about her story was just, it's really motivating to see that like she's just on another level, dude. Like she's,
I can sense this maybe like deep, like it may take a lot to get it out of her, but I feel like there's some crazy Russian-ness within her, like I can kind of sense it a little bit, but couple that with her being from New York, and you're mixing together some feisty sort of elements, and it's bound to just explode eventually. So,
well, that's the thing. Her ring work, just you sit there and go, God damn! Like, does she know? Like that's like, yeah, like it's you don't see many women wrestling that aggressively, and it's just like, whoa. And she did mention she wants to come to Australia, so there you go. She has that connection to PWA with you. Maybe you guys can have that match.
She has that connection. She also has a connection with, again, like Mick Moretti and a few other people, like being in the States throughout them. But yeah, like, man, there was some plans with other people as well for Australia and to come in, and man, there were so many plans. And then obviously, thank you, COVID, and it just ruined everything. But
yeah, fucking COVID, man, that sucks. How did you survive not wrestling and gyms being closed and shit like that? Like, because you seem like you're a pretty energetic person, and I think like you being locked inside a house for a period of time would probably like do your head in.
Oh, it's hell. Like being locked in. Like I'm very like I don't like to be a recluse. I don't like to be like locked up. So it was shit. Especially like COVID for us, like the quarantine lockdown happened pretty much about a week after a scheduled main event in which I was meant to wrestle in. I was meant to wrestle Caveman Oak for the title. That got called off, and I was gutted. And then probably the week after, that was when like, all right, everyone's pretty much on lockdown. Lock the shit down. And I was like, fuck, I don't know what to do. So I just obviously watched wrestling, just tried to pass time. Luckily, I live with other wrestlers, so we were all kind of in the same boat. And I got very creative with a lot of my home workouts. I'm very much a fan of obviously calisthenics and doing a lot of body weight stuff. So obviously your squats and your push-ups and your sit-ups, but tried to sprinkle that in with a bit of a variation. We did a lot of Zoom training sessions with PWA as well. So that shit never stopped. That was still going nearly 7 days a week.
Wow.
Yeah. This is what I mean. Like, everyone in PWA, we're all in the same shitty boat, but it was less shitty because we're all somewhat there together.
Man, that's something crazy, dude. Like, it's to be able to be sit there then locked in and then still being able to have that connection and doing home workouts with your crew, man. That would keep you motivated. You know what I mean? Because dude, I found training at home. Like, I got 2 kids, 4 and 2, and I was trying to work out at home, and I'm like, got dumbbells trying to do shoulder press and have like my kids running around going, Dad, I gotta do. It's like,
just tell the kids, bench, like, pressure the kids. You got to be innovative with this. Kill 2 birds, 1 stone.
Dude, I did do a couple of training sessions with my kids, man. The only thing is there was no rest break, bro. I'm like trying to rest in between reps, and my daughter's going again.
Their energy levels way in excess of whatever the hell we got. Like little kids are almost like they're hopped up on something, probably like a massive sugar rush, but you can't compete with their energy. It's phenomenal.
Dude, it is, man. Like, my son, who's 4, he loves to wrestle, and he's starting to get into wanting to watch it. But if I'm like laying on the floor in the lounge room, he'll sneak up onto the couch and like frog splash onto and it's like, if you're not expecting that shit, it's like, oh, yeah, dude. And then I've got my daughter trying to cross-face me, so it's great. It's great family fun.
You're getting it from both of them.
Yeah, exactly. So, I'm like, just let someone be the ref, Jesus. But man, obviously, the time in America that you were there, you also received a tryout a few years back with All Japan Pro Wrestling. How did that go, man? How did you find the tryout and wrestling with the Japanese guys? Was that pretty intense?
Oh man, like, I love All Japan. Like, I am a big fan of All Japan. What All Japan was and what All Japan is right now. So when that opportunity came up, I'm just like, all right, I'll actually go there first, and then I'll go to Chicago. So I went from the West Coast to the East Coast. Yeah. So before I actually went, I'm like, all right, this is All Japan. The classic tales of All Japan dojo workouts and shit. I'm like, and I'm a fit dude, so I'm like, mate, I got this shit covered. This is good, So I get there, I land, and I go straight to the tryout. There's no in between. So I go, whatever, I pack my shit, and it's rainy. We all get there at piss early in the morning. And Jun Akiyama comes, Tajiri comes, and Ultimate Dragon comes. I think Super Crazy was meant to be there, but he wasn't there for the tryout. So those 3 guys go in, and we're on some sort of like tent on the outside. And the promoter who ran the tryout just says, all right, boys, Akiyama just came in. He doesn't want any warm-ups. Okay, you're not going to do anything. All he wants to see is tag matches. And he goes, all right. So he's like, pick your tag team. And he said he wants to see a few 6-mans as well. So he pointed to me, 2 other people. He's like, you're a team. To me, 2 other people, you're a team. You got about 3 minutes, put it together. Go wrestle. I'm like, oh shit, So we quite legitimately had 3 minutes, put together a 6-man match for, again, Tajiri, Akiyama, and Ultima. I'm like, oh crap. So we go in there, and little did we know, Akiyama, he only wanted to see 3 minutes. So after 3 minutes, he just all right, that's enough, everyone out. Luckily, in those 3 minutes, I managed to grab in the ring for about 30 seconds. And in those 30 seconds, I'm going to make myself a fool. I'm going to be the most charismatic, over-the-top motherfucker that anyone is seeing there. Because how else are you going to be memorable in 30 seconds if you just punch, kick, bump, So that's what I did. I quite legitimately showed my ass to these fellas, and which is not a sight to see. So afterwards, after everyone did their matches, and I feel sorry, some people only managed to get in the ring for about 5-10 seconds and then got tagged out.
Yeah.
After all that happens, they're like, okay, we want to see these 10 people do another match. And he read out the 10, and I was one of the 10, and I'm like, cool. So we had about 5 minutes now to do another tag match. Did the same thing, whatever. At the end of the day, everyone of those 10 got some individual feedback. And what I'll always remember, and this again, it's not something I hold with ill feelings or resentment. It's just funny. I go up to Ultimo, and he says something, whatever, but then Akiyama comes in and basically said, "Your wrestling, it's good. I like it, but not all Japan. Maybe DDT, but not all Japan."
Wow.
Well, as soon as he said that, I know what he was meaning. Like, tough stuff, Ricky South, the gimmick ain't all Japan. It may be DDT,
Yeah.
but it sure as shit ain't, the gimmick for the home promotion of the Four Pillars and Jumbo and Giant Barber. Tough stuff, Ricky South is a bit of an anomaly in that company. Would fit perfectly in with DDT.
But did they like your ring work to the fact where they could potentially, did they think about repackaging you, or is that something that you were just like, I'm tough stuff Ricky South, this is who I am, this is what I'm going to be, or was it like they just were turned off of the gimmick?
No, I don't think they were turned off. And again, no one got too much other than like a few sentences. So I don't know if they wanted to repackage or whatever. I feel like maybe they just wanted someone, they wanted someone ready to go, the package deal so they can just quickly slot in. They probably didn't want to have to rebuild them up and retrain and recoach and give them another gimmick. I think they wanted to see a character that they liked and that would fit in with All Japan and obviously would be quite technically proficient. Sure as shit I was technically proficient and they did like my work. Just tough stuff Ricky South doesn't fit in with All Japan.
Did you have an opportunity to go over to DDT though?
Nah.
And try it now?
Yeah, well, it's funny now, and it's ironic. He's now not a president, but I think like an advisor or a high up exec for DDT. But I 100% knew what he was saying, and I 100% understood it, and probably going into it, I kind of knew it. Ricky South ain't everyone's cup of tea, and I am more than comfortable with that.
Yeah, right. So you weren't deflated by it at all. It was like, all right, cool. Yeah, no, I get it. I'm probably not going to be your cup of tea.
And I feel like wrestlers need a great deal of self-awareness and need to be able to step back and look at who you are and what you're presenting to someone. If I was to present myself to All Japan, I wouldn't present Ricky South. I wouldn't present an over-the-top, flamboyant, colorful character. If you look at their history, you look who they have now, and you look who they have had in the past, if you can give me one person that was close to character Ricky South, I'll give you $100.
Yeah, definitely not. Definitely not. It's very much the straight Japanese wrestling. Like there's no ifs, buts, or maybe.
So but what I took from it is they liked my work and they liked the character, although it wasn't a fit for All Japan.
Yeah,
I liked it. Ultimo liked it. Tajiri spent the whole session just smoking darts and singing, like just having ciggies the entire time. Like, I honestly never seen someone smoke so much, which was just funny. But yeah, it was just a funny experience. And
man,
one that I'll look back on pretty fondly. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, dude. Well, but that's the thing. It's the fact that they were even said that they recognized it and said that they enjoyed the character. It just wasn't the right fit for there. But coming back and wrestling in Australia, who's been some of your favorite opponents to work? Let's start with locally first. But within Australia, who's been some of your favorite opponents?
So within PWA, and everyone, then I'll probably say all for different reasons. Just for the comedic factor, and I think this person's comedic chops are just A1, top of the line, bloody fantastic is Big Fudge. I love wrestling Big Fudge. He is so funny. His timing is impeccable for comedy, and it just works. And we just bounce. So I love wrestling Big Fudge. I love wrestling someone like Jack Bonza because we both like to put a bit of an emphasis on the actual technical aspect of wrestling, and it's something that we're pretty proficient at. So whenever we get the chance to scrap, we always do scrap and actual wrestle. Someone like Matty Wahlberg as well. I've only really wrestled him once, but we've trained together again like 7 days a week for the past 4 or 5 years. So we just know each other and we just gel really well. And then there are just some new people coming up as well that I have a hand in kind of like crafting shit with them, and they're bloody phenomenal. And I just want, the opportunity just to get in the ring with them. People like Reese Angel, Kingsley, Donnie Mako, like these people are absolutely phenomenal. And guys like the Velocities as well, Jude London, Paris da Silva. It's putting matches with guys that I've just mentioned. I am very fortunate to be around that company of people. It's just very easy. It makes wrestling actually quite enjoyable. When you get to do it with people who obviously know their shit and are good at their shit, it gives you the ability to really express yourself creatively and physically. And then obviously I can go outside PWA. There are people everywhere that I have wrestled and enjoy wrestling and want to wrestle. Like if I go just from state to state, like someone in Perth or people in Perth, like The Godfather, David Storm, Damian Slater, Delcano, Julian Ward, folks like them are like amazing wrestlers. I've wrestled David Storm and it's been phenomenal, and all these other guys would be fantastic. Go to Adelaide, would love to wrestle guys like AJ Istria, Tommy Knight, Nick Golfus, Rat Daddy, all these blokes. Corn Dog would be phenomenal. Like the Bassos would love to wrestle them. Folks in Melbourne, like someone like Royce Chambers would love to wrestle him. And I feel like once COVID's over, you're probably going to get absolutely slammed with such a smorgasbord of unique matches and different combinations and different stylings, all put it together in all these fancy good matches. So, man, I'm just super keen.
Man, so am I. You've just G'd me up, and man, my plan now after COVID is to definitely go and check out a lot more live wrestling, because it's, I've definitely gotten that bug again to get out and get to shows. So for me, it's that's going to be Dad's night out, where I get to go out and enjoy a night of great wrestling. So
I know you experience PWA at our academy, but if you get the chance to experience PWA at our home venue at Max Spots, try and get to there, because it's another completely different experience, and it's part of my language, but it's fucking awesome. And I feel like our fans can probably attest to it. It's absolutely amazing, and it's something we've tried to build up as kind of a spiritual home for Aussie wrestling, and we want it to be that. So if you get a chance, Max Watts, if we do get the ability to run a show there, man, it's amazing. Alcoholic Adam will shout your beers, like you just said.
That's the thing. Alcoholic Adam, big shout out to him, who actually was able to pass his ticket on because he couldn't go to the show. Said, "Hey man, I got a ticket. Do you want to go?" And I jumped on it straight away. Big shout out to him, Alcoholic Adam. So he's always up for a beer. So
good on him.
Yeah, man. No, definitely. It's I'm really excited about live wrestling. But guys, we are getting to that 1 hour mark, and I do want to be respectful of Tough Stuff's time. So, Ricky, can you just let everyone know where they can find you, on social media and stuff like that?
Mainly on Twitter and Instagram. Look, I'm not the most socially proficient. Like, the running joke is that I'm an old man and kind of am with how I dress, how I talk, the music I like, the movies I watch, and my social presence. So I try and be, interactive and funny. You can follow me there at TS Ricky South. Chuck us a follow. If you want to have a bit of a chat, I'm always open for a chat, especially wrestling or Seinfeld, my two great loves. Talk to me about that, and you won't be able to shut me up for quite a while.
There you go, guys. So make sure you go and check out Ricky, and make sure you give him a follow. And any merchandise or anything like that people can go to support you and get some Ricky South merch.
Yes, and I do want to give this place a lot of love and a big shout out. You can get my merch or any wrestler's merch from PWA or now anyone from Australia. WrestlerMerch.com. The team at Wrestler Merch I'm very close with are absolutely phenomenal. Some of the hardest working people I've ever encountered. You can go there. And I just also want to quickly drop PWA. Next Monday is debuting our PWA Premiership. So, kind of like a tournament-based bracket. So I love a tourney. It's round robin styles, and it's going to be absolutely phenomenal coming out Monday.
And that's going to be on OVO Play, correct?
I don't know. It may be on OVO Play. They may just release it on Facebook or YouTube. I'm keen to find that out. But you know what? Subscribe to OVO Play as well.
Yeah, absolutely. You can go check out some great Aussie wrestling. I subscribe to OVO Play, and I've been binge watching, man. So, I've been enjoying what I'm seeing. It's been great. Guys, before we head out, I just want to say a special thanks to our sponsors. First off is WASIF Championship Belts. If you're a wrestling fan, you got to own a championship belt. You want a custom belt or a replica of your favorite belt, head over and check out WASIF Championship Belts on Facebook, and they'll give you an amazing deal. Also, huge shout out to my boy Rafi at Signal Studios, does amazing stuff over there, and also A-Rock Designs, run by my good friend Ashley Rodriguez over in the United States, makes amazing cups and tumblers. But Ricky, thank you so much for your time coming on the show. It's been amazing talking to you and being able to hear a bit about you and your story. And look, man, anytime you want to come back on this show, you've got an open invitation, brother.
I appreciate it very much. It was very fun shooting the shit, and cheers to everyone who took the time to obviously watch us two blokes again just shoot the shit. It was good.
Absolutely, man. Thank you very much, and thanks, guys, for watching and listening. We appreciate it, and we'll catch you next time.
Thanks, guys.